I'm going to first start off this video by saying I appreciate every single person who subscribed to my first video ever. And I'm not going to lie, I did take a few weeks off because I got sick. We ran into some stuff with business, but we are finally back. I'm sorry, I'm going to start uploading frequently. Today, we had some new news. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming. As you probably may know from the supplier, look at all these boxes. Everything's inventory. We have a brand right now that we're about to start pumping on TikTok Shop. And I want to first start off with saying none of this would be possible if I didn't take a risk and wasn't scared of putting money in order to see a greater return. And one of the biggest mistakes most people make when it comes to trying to make money is they do a few things, they get distracted, they see drop shipping, and then they see another shiny object. They try SMMA, they're like bouncing around everywhere. And the trick to being extremely successful this day is to simplify your focus on one thing. And this is what I talked about in my previous video, the power of the one thing. And if you understand that fundamental, you will go places that you have never dreamed in your life. I promise you. If you have a bunch of things on your to-do list, if you have 20 things, simplify it and make it into 5. If you have 5 things, simplify it and make it into 1. Procrastinating does not work. If you're doing one thing at a time, 100% of your focus is there. If you do 2 things, 50% is divided between 2 things. If you do 3 things, something gets dropped. So take that into mind when you're building out your schedule for the day. And put your energy and your focus where it matters. Do not bombard yourself with unnecessary tasks that in the end will contribute to 0 value. Okay? Be smart, put your energy where it belongs, and always be 5 steps ahead. I'll see y'all in my room. We spawned back in my room. After a long day, I'm exhausted. I've had the flu. But that's not going to stop me from making this video for you guys. Because I truly believe what I'm about to say is going to change some lives. So let's go into it. So, first thing I want to start off with saying, a lot of people have came up to me these past few years asking me, Arya, how have you done such large, like I'm not joking, I've had many people, as you can imagine, if you were in high school just up until last year, like me, you could imagine how many people I've had coming up to me asking me, how are you doing these type of numbers? Who taught you? Where did you learn how to do this? How long did it take you? I've heard all of these questions. And the answer people aren't prepared to understand and really acknowledge is the trick to my success is I have cut out the distractions and I've narrowed my concentration into what really matters. Have you ever thought about how there's 24 hours in a day? And some people tend to get a lot more done. Some people tend to not get a lot done even though they think they're being so active and they're getting stuff done on their to-do list, They're doing a whole bunch of things that in the end will contribute to 0 success down the line. Now, the trick to a shortcut to succeeding, to achieving wealth faster is to stop doing so much. The trick is to be lazier. And you're probably like, what? What do you even mean by being lazier? You need to stop filling your to-do list with so much BS. You need to stop worrying about tasks that if completed, they won't do anything. You need to ask yourself, what is that? And a great example of this law of doing less to achieve more, a really great example I like is this study that was done by some professor in Harvard. So they took a group of people, middle-aged people, and they had these people go on bikes. And they had these people go on bikes for 1 hour a day for 4 weeks straight. For 8 weeks straight. So what is that? That is that's 40 hours in 2 months, okay? They had people going on these bike rides. They were telling people to bike as fast as they could, get their heart rate up. And in the end, there's a measurement called VO2, and this is a measurement for how much air can be utilized in your body when you are undergoing physical stress. So at the end of this experiment, at least for this group of people, you would think that their VO2 percentages would raise dramatically. You want to know how much it raised by? You guys won't believe it. 2%. Now let's talk about the other group that was tested. This other group, instead of going on this bike for 1 hour a day for 2 months straight, they had people go on these bikes for 15 minutes a day, and they had people bike as fast as they could, get their heart rate up as fast as they could, and then take a break. And then do it again, and then take a break. It's the same analogy of how when a lion is trying to attack a zebra, and the zebra somehow gets away, it shakes his body off, and then it turns to going back and eating food. This is called an adrenaline dump. This is how we were programmed to be. So after this experiment, for 2 months straight, this group of people who were doing this cycle for 15 minutes and going as hard as they could, as fast as they could for this short period of time, their VO2 percentage raised by 12%. That is a perfect example of how working less can actually contribute to more if you know what you're doing, if your energy, if your focus, if you know where to put your energy. You need to know. Everybody thinks that they can do things by themselves. You can't. There's a great quote that I really like. I forgot his last name, but his first name is Robert. His name is Robert Hooke. And he says, "If I have seen far, it is because I have stood on the shoulders of giants." Now you could imagine what that means. This is extremely, extremely valuable info, guys. You guys cannot go through life by yourself. This is not how I didn't achieve wealth if I didn't go to multiple events, to masterminds, networking with people, going into Discord groups, begging people in their DM. Not begging is the worst word. I was spamming people and telling them, I'm like, hey, can I work for you for free? Can you teach me this? Can you teach me that? I was peckering them in their DMs. I was trying to suck as much valuable info as I could to the point where I could do this by myself. I went to people who were bigger than me, people who were succeeding more than me. I went to the people who I wanted to be, and I started replicating, and I started basing my agendas and work analogy off the people who were succeeding better than me. So don't think that you can go through life all by yourself. You need people who are bigger than you. You need people who know what you don't know. The whole idea of being like a lonely alpha wolf and doing everything by yourself, like, give me a damn break. On top of all this, if you're somebody who has those big to-do lists, you have 20 things on your to-do list. Not even. If you have 10 things on your to-do list, which I bet most of you do, even on your calendar, go through that list and ask yourself, what is the one thing? F everything else. Ask yourself, what is the one thing that if I were to do this one task right now, will it make the biggest change of all? And if the answer is yes, for whatever particular task that is in that to-do list, put everything else to the side and jam your focus into the one thing. I promise you guys, it can't get more simple. I'm telling you that you don't need to bombard yourself with so much work. You don't need to put in so much extra effort. You can do things, you can work smarter, you can work a lot more effectively to see higher gains, to see a higher ROI. The domino effect is a really great analogy I like to use too. One domino can tip over a domino that's literally the size of the Eiffel Tower if there's multiple dominoes. Eventually, this small domino, if you stack enough and each one gets 50% larger each time, this one domino will have the power to tip over that big one. And what I mean by that is if you set yourself up in a position where you just tick this domino the first time, if you put yourself in that position, if you do that one business idea you always wanted to do and it succeeds, now you've just opened a whole door of possibilities. You have now accumulated so much knowledge that was going to help you down the line, that is going to allow you to tick over that bigger domino. Stop putting your time and energy into things that do not matter. Cut out the distractions. If you have a girlfriend, kick her out the door. If you're worried about who's going to win the next football game, is it really going to do anything for your life, bro? Take a look at the time and age that we are living in. Millionaires are being made out of thin air. And you still have people who are working jobs at fast food chains, restaurants, people with degrees. They're out here putting their time and sweat, 8 hours, 9, 10 hours a day. I don't even know how the hours work. I've never worked a job. But you have these people working their precious time to make something that is literally printed out of thin air. Like they're working hard for something that is printed. The best thing that you can do is right now is to take advantage of the time that we are living in. We are in a digital gold rush. I know multiple people in my phone right now that if I text right now, they were all going to show me results of probably in the past 1 to 2 weeks, they've all made over 10 to 20K in profit. These are the type of people that I surround myself around. These are the type of people you need to be asking questions. You can't go through life by yourself. And more importantly, you need to catch trends. You need to see what is in demand, what is going viral right now, and create a business, create a brand revolving around what is needed right now. Stop putting your energy into things that do not matter. You're going to look back one day and be pissed off at yourself, bro. You're going to ask yourself why you didn't. You think smoking all this and going out with your friends and drinking every single day on weekends and weekdays, you're kicked back in your bed right after you come home from bed, you're wasting all your time. You think you're going to be happy with yourself 10, 20, 30, 40 years from now? Is that the life that you want to live? If the answer is no, bro, then I got news for you. Put your energy and focus into one thing that you know if you complete this one thing, it will make a great change in your life. I promise you, you will see nothing but positive results. I'll see you on the next vid.